not interested.
The song goes like this.
Hi, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. Welcome to Trial and Error, where I play the first part of a game or a game demo, usually do that pretty badly, and give you my thoughts along the way. This time I'm taking a look at Horizon Zero Dawn. I wouldn't say I've been hyped about this game, but I've definitely been looking forward to it. I suspect that I'll enjoy it. I really like open world RPGs, and I've even come to enjoy open world action games. I'm typically terrible at action games, so I'm hoping there's an easy setting. I'm hoping I'll be able to make my way through this game. I just suck at action games of all kinds, and I really just play games for the story, for the exploration, and for character progression and building of my strengths through the game. I love what I've seen of the setting of this game. What's potentially working against my enjoyment right now is that I recently just discovered the Assassin's Creed series, meaning that I discovered that I could actually play through it and enjoy it. It wouldn't be too hard for me. So I've been really enjoying those games a lot. I got back into the Far Cry games and have been just playing them to death, including Far Cry Primal, which has some similarities in its setting, potentially, to a game like this. So what I'm wondering as I go into this is, yes, this kind of game and all it's supposed to be is definitely right up my alley, but at the moment, am I just going to be kind of burned out on open world action experiences? Let's find out.
Hi, Matriarch Tirsa. What is she doing here?
Oh, Mother, this child needs a name by which to know her. That your love may warm her life as the rising sun warms all the earth.
Interesting. So they've got this matriarchal society. They worship a goddess, and the main character is a female. It seems like the creators of the game are wanting to say something or do something there with the prominence of female characters and female roles. Easy, thank you. This game looks fantastic.
And pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Death. Okay, from the top, kids. Hail Mary, full of grace.
Oh, that would be interesting. There's this log of a Catholic prayer to Mary from the past, and now in this time they worship a goddess. I like the use of the journal entries and how you can listen to them on the go. It's very Bioshock inspired and a great way to just kind of fill in background and story while the game keeps moving. That's cool. Alright, so that's a verse from the hymn Amazing Grace. So this is set in, not only set in our world, but it's factoring in Christian belief. So then, I might ask myself, does this scenario playing out, as the game suggests, this story, is it compatible with what the Bible tells us about the future of the world? Is this compatible with some of the events described in the book of Daniel or Revelation, or is it something that could potentially happen before those events take place? So that's just kind of an interesting little note that I'll just kind of file away and be thinking about as I continue to play through. The alternative route they could go is a kind of a naturalistic route, which is often the route of sci-fi, to basically present Christian belief or theistic belief and then basically reveal it as being, all false. That's typically the route of science fiction. Science fiction typically leans toward atheism, and so it'll be interesting to see where this one goes.
Be praised. Come, girl. Take my hand. Such places are forbidden, Aloy.
I fell in.
They are of the metal world. What is that on your face?
Nothing.
Did you find it down there?
No.
Aloy, such things are dangerous.
No!
So already in that exchange, we have the first example of faith versus science. He referenced the All-Mother, so he's obviously this religious person that believes in the goddess. He sees technology and says, no, Stay away from that. That's dangerous. So that's typically what you're going to see in science fiction. It's not a view I hold to. I mean, I don't believe any of the books of the Bible were written in the genre of science textbook. They're not designed or intended in their writing style to reveal scientific data. But at the same time, I think when we understand the proper literary genres of the books of the Bible and understand why they were written, how they were written, we'll find that they're absolutely compatible with what we see in science. So the idea that faith and science are kind of at war with each other, I don't believe that.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Okay, so now I think I'm okay here. So who else do I gotta get past? I don't know if I'm gonna have patience for a bunch of stealth stuff. Well, there's a lot of stuff to pick up and collect, and I usually like that. Oh, jeez!
Something's really bothering him.
Boy, I'm really glad I didn't die, but I'm not sure where to go from here. Wow. Good thing she's really great at climbing. I mean, there's just the visual detail, and just the detail in general of the world is just fantastic. It really looks great. I think the sound design is great, too. I really enjoy all the walking and the crunchy sounds my feet make, and the sounds of the machines. Oh, they're coming to check me out. Alright, let's do it then. Oh, geez. Got him. Alright, so it was not insta-kill, that's very good. But still, definitely to my advantage to use stealth. Cool, I like that slow-mo mechanic you can unlock while you're aiming. How do I navigate this? Can I... Oh, you just automatically jump. I didn't even push a jump button.
You know, I wonder what bothers me more. That she ignores me, or that with all her talking to Allmother, she's never lonely.
So Aloy is bothered that Odd Grata doesn't feel lonely given all the time that she spends talking to Allmother. Which, in a sense, is Aloy's way of saying that Allmother can't be that much of a companion to you. So it's downplaying really the reality of the goddess. Establishing for the first time in a subtle way Aloy as kind of an anti-theist in this setting. So we'll just have to watch and see if that trend continues.
Good news, Grata. Once again, Allmother has brought you rabbits.
All Mother, each morning I find your tears of joy speckling the leaves. Joy at the beauty of all you have made. See how I cry now with you in gratitude.
So you'll cry for her, but you won't speak to me. Fine. Guess that makes you the better outcast.
So yeah, there's a little bit of resentment there on the part of Aloy that she's not getting the credit for doing good, and that it's the Allmother that's getting the credit. I think someone coming from a non-theist position, I can understand why they would feel that way, that like when good things happen and we thank God, they could say, no, these people did this. People did this. That's how this happened, you know. But what I think the non-theist may not be recognized in that moment is that all those people were able to do those things, were able to help, were able to provide assistance because of things that were given to them, abilities, skills, because of God working in their hearts and influencing their circumstances and their feelings. There's just the sovereignty of God that is always at work and influencing to bring about good through people. That said, I mean, you know, as theists, we ought to be grateful to people as well. So there's kind of like these two extremes being represented here, and I think that the truth is, as it often is, you know, somewhere between those two extremes. So I'm picking up all these little like side quests and stuff, which is great, and I like that in open world games. I like that they are giving me little stories for each of the side quests, but the main story is what I'm finding compelling right now, and I don't usually play games for their story, but I'm very curious where her main story is going. What happened to the world? What brought it to this point? What's the nature of the goddess? Where did those beliefs come from? What is Aloy certainly going to discover that no one else knows about this world and about her people? That's the story that I'm really interested in right now. So oddly enough, despite the fact that I love open world games and I love just adding a boatload of quests to, check off one by one by one by one, I might find myself kind of mainlining my way through the main quest in this game, and then coming back and doing all the side quest stuff later. Whoa! Okay, so I can definitely drop off early. Don't do that. Okay, so I just listened to this woman teaching the children about the lore of, where they all came from, and they're following, this kind of like trope of, we've got this tribal society who don't have a really reliable record of history. It's all like exaggerated by legend, and it's got this whole skin of the fantastical set over it, so it's not really reliable. So you have to kind of decode the fantastical things they're saying to get at what actually happened, So again, that's a device that's used a bunch of times, and is often, a way that people will look at the Bible and say, oh, it should all be discredited. Anything fantastical in there that's like not normal and day to day that we experience today should just be totally disregarded. It's just part of their superstition or whatever. So, they're just kind of like towing that line once again here. What I picked up, I think, in my decoding of the lore is that the machines kind of got out of hand. That the humans used them to make their lives more comfortable and to build things for them, but something got out of whack. I guess there was maybe one machine that kind of rose up and led the other machines. And so I'm guessing there was probably like an AI, moment that was achieved where like one of them suddenly gained sentience or whatever. I mean, that's what always happens, right? And then led the machines in an uprising or some crap like that, and totally backfired on the humans. And so it looks like that's what we're dealing with, and then the tribes people are like, they're the ones that stuck with nature. They're like, we are the ones that always appreciated nature, and haven't been about the machines. So it's just weird. It'll be interesting to see just kind of what themes they're dealing with here. I doubt that the creators are going for this kind of like anti-technology kind of thing. I mean, I'm not picking out really any obvious kind of philosophical beliefs, aside from, maybe a bias against theism. But again, I have to play a ton more of this game to kind of see where they're going with those themes. We'll just kill a grazer. Oh, jeez! Oh, jeez! Oh, my gosh! I thought I got it! Oh! Dodge! Let's use healthy.
They keep coming! How many are there?
Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Where? I don't have a mini-map. Where are the bad guys? Oh my gosh! Day-door, day-door. Day-door, day-door. You guys keep fighting, I will be looting. Headshot, baby. Come on, I'll do it again. Jeez! Yes! Now I've got the Deathbringer gun. I will bring death to you people. Ooh, easy mode doesn't feel easy.
And now the only plan my sister matriarchs can agree to is to sing the hymn of atonement and beg for All Mother's mercy, as though she would not want us to help ourselves.
Oh, yeah, because God helps those who help themselves, right? That's from the Bible, I think. But of course it's true that God wants us to act and not only pray.
By the holy grace of the one goddess, we hereby anoint you a seeker of the Nora tribe.
So she's the one goddess, monotheistic. Monotheism in mainstream entertainment, I'm trying to think of a single example where it's portrayed as truth. Alright, so I am the truth seeker. Well, I'm definitely behind the idea of the protagonist, the hero, being a seeker of truth. I mean, seek the truth is kind of the motto of our official podcast. But what's interesting to me is that the person who is seeking truth seems to have a bias against the supernatural. I don't want to say that she has chosen to rule out the supernatural altogether before her investigation of truth begins, which is what an atheist is going to do, I think. But she does seem to have a bias against it. So it'll just be interesting to see. I mean, I'm just assuming the way things are going that there's not going to be any truth to any of the spiritual beliefs of these people. They all definitely seem to be following the stereotypes of superstition associated with religious belief, and so I think that truth is going to be found out to be, completely naturalistic in nature. But it's not going to affect my enjoyment of the game unless it, gets more preachy. My gosh. Why is it coming after just me? There's a bunch of other people around here. It doesn't leave the highlighted weak spots on there. Like, they fade after a while. Oh my gosh! Did you hold still for just a second? Even in slow motion, I suck at this. I'm trying to be smart. I'm trying to use the dumb tripwire. Now, come on. Ah! Oh, good. I can't trip off my own tripwire. Come get me, punk! Didn't that get it? Ah! It moves too much! Can't even tell if I'm doing... Oh, I did maybe a little bit of damage. But he is super damaging me. Drink the potion! I don't even have time to think. My gosh. Would you slow the crap down? No, and he's moved. Oh, jeez.
The demon is dead! With the killers.
Good gravy. That didn't feel like easy mode. What's interesting about Aloy as a non-theist or atheist character is that she was raised in an environment that was negatively influenced by religious culture in some way. And that's what I've noticed to be true of a lot of the most passionate atheists. Were raised in a religious environment that they had some kind of negative association with, and then they come away from that in their formative years and never re-examine, really, with any seriousness, the claims of theism. And that's kind of what is going on with Aloy, I think. I have to pay to fast travel? That's lame. Yeah! Anybody else? No? Okay. Oh, I love those crunchy boot sounds. I love them. You put crunchy boots in a game, you're gonna win points with me. Okay, I've spent about 5 hours with the game, and so I feel like I kind of have a sense of it. I'm enjoying it so far. I think I'm approaching combat the wrong way, and I've just realized that kind of at the tail end. I think I'm used to, in these open world games, being able to just kind of take out bad guys, however I want, or just kind of pick a tactic and just hammer away at that. And I think this is a little bit more the case where I need to study each enemy and recognize that each enemy is potentially going to take a little bit more time than I normally would need to defeat in another kind of open world action RPG type of game. It seems like there are either the small monsters that I can sneak up on and kill with one hit, or the larger ones, which take a significantly greater amount of time, especially if I'm just trying to hammer away with one weapon and one technique the whole time. I think I'm going to have to get used to using the different types of tools available to Aloy in the game in order to shorten the length of battles and to be more effective. So it's a different kind of gameplay than I'm used to, but I think I'll be able to adjust to it. And the fact that I've been able to make it through without dying by the skin of my teeth in some cases, by simply just kind of doing the dumb, whack, whack, whack combat technique, says to me that if I also take advantage of the combat systems and the tools available to Aloy in the game, that I'll have even more success, and I have every reason to think that on easy difficulty I'll be able to make it through this game. And I really want to. Normally the story experience that I play games for is the story that I create in my mind as I'm playing the game, not the story that the creators are intending, because usually those don't interest me at all. But this story interests me a bit. In fact, unlike other open world action RPG-ish types of games, I probably won't spend a ton of time doing all the kind of open world activities that I can before taking down the final mission. I will probably beeline it through the main storyline as quickly as I can when I come back to this game. But when I come back to this game is really up in the air right now, because as I said, I've just discovered the Assassin's Creed games. I've really been enjoying those. I'm right in the middle of Far Cry Primal, and even though that's a first-person game and it doesn't have any sci-fi elements, from the crafting and kind of character progression to the setting, there's just a lot in common aesthetically between Horizon Zero Dawn and Far Cry Primal. And so I want to finish Far Cry Primal. I've been enjoying that game quite a bit, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be wanting to dive right into this game right after that. So it may be a little while before I come back to this game, but make no mistake, I am definitely looking forward to this, and I can tell this is an experience that I'm really going to enjoy when I'm ready for it. I'm also curious where the themes go and how much the themes become a part of the story, Is the matriarchal society and the kind of anti-theistic theme that I'm picking up on, is that just kind of a theme that they're playing with, or is it actually a major part of the story and the revelation of the world and how the world came to be in the place that it is? Once again, science fiction is unnecessarily pitting science against faith, because I absolutely do not think those are incompatible, as so many people seem to think. It's been done so often. It is the status quo in science fiction to do that, so I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed by it, but I would be pleasantly surprised if they kind of took things in a different direction in the game going forward. I don't think that's going to happen, but, I'm still a little bit curious to see where that all goes, if it's going to be the same humdrum science versus faith, or if there's going to be kind of a different direction that the story will take. And in this particular instance, I'm not offended that they're pitting kind of reason and logic and science, if you will, against the faith that's represented here, as it doesn't seem to be a faith that is allowed to be called into question. I think a lot of people see reason, logic, science, and investigation of truth to be counter to faith because that's just been their experience. But that really wasn't my experience. My experience was when I had questions, not for a parent or someone to say, you just got to have faith. No, it was, well, let's look into this, let's see what data is available and allow you to come to your conclusions based on that. And in that process, my faith specifically in the God of the Bible has only been strengthened. Anyway, cool game. It's not for me like this mind-blowing thing that's like, oh my gosh, I've got to drop everything right now and just get on the big hype train with this thing, because it is a game that blows away all open world games and it's just a must play right now. That's not what it is for me, especially because I'm not just finishing up some open world action games, I'm actually in the middle of 2 open world action games, and so this one it's not a must play for me right now, but I'm definitely going to play it at some point, and maybe in the not too distant future, and I think I'm really going to enjoy it. Alright, those are my thoughts. I'd love to get yours in the comments below. Go over to spiritblade.com and see the weekly podcast and audio dramas that we have for you there. And then I hope you'll join us at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.